This summer, Instacart is bringing back your favorites from $19.99 with prices from $19.99. That means 90s prices on juice pouches that ought to be respected, 90s prices on box mac and cheese, and 90s prices on ham, cheese, and cracker lunches. Enjoy all those throwbacks and more at throwback prices, only through Instacart. $4.72 maximum discount per $10 of eligible items. Limit 3 offers per order. Expires September 5th while supplies last. Discount based on CPI comparison.
Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Welcome to How to Survive, the show that teaches you how to survive the stuff that can kill you.
Like a flat tire, because you could, hit something.
Or, crash.
Or pissing off P. Diddy.
Don't do it.
Or a neck stomp.
Oh, I don't want that.
No.
And the things that just make you wish you were dead.
Like a midlife crisis. Or bad jobs. Or Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. But honestly, do yourself a favor and watch it if you haven't. Because it's mind-boggling.
Like a fun hate watch?
Yeah.
You know what isn't a fun hate watch?
Our theme song?
It's a good love listen.
I love that. Enjoy.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. How to survive. How to survive.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Here we are.
What a dumb day this has already been for me.
Oh my gosh. Morning crisis.
So yesterday, I was at my class and before I went to my class, I realized my tire was low. The pressure was low. So I was like, okay, I'll stop at the place afterwards and get the air filled. So I did.
Good.
Took care of that.
So responsible.
Then the light was still on. But sometimes
a light comes on for your tires?
When the air pressure is low.
Oh, that's cool.
You don't have that?
No.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. So, but sometimes that happens even after you fill it.
Yeah.
It'll be on for like until the next time you start the car.
Okay. So you were like, I'm not alarmed by this.
I was a little alarmed, but I wasn't that alarmed. Then this morning I get in the car and I'm like, fuck, it's still low. And then I check and then it shows you how much pressure is in each tire.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, it's back down to 27. And I got it filled to 35 yesterday. So obviously I'm going to have to deal with this after the show. Obviously there's a leak in my tire or something. I'm going to have to deal with this. So I've got Oliver in the car and we get on the freeway. There's just one. We just go on the freeway for one stop to bring him to school.
Yes.
I get on the freeway. As soon as I get on the freeway, bam, it pops.
So your car was trying to tell you something.
It was definitely trying to tell me something. So it's like, the whole car is shaking. And it's like, ba-bum, ba-bum,
yes.
ba-bum. And you're like, just let me get off the freeway. Just let me get off the freeway. Just let me get off the freeway. So I get off. His school is right there, right off the freeway. Mm-hmm. So I let him off and I park in the gas station.
That was good. I mean,
yes.
Like fortuitous that for one, you couldn't pick up that much speed.
Absolutely,
and that you had a gas station right there.
Right.
And you just let him off on the freeway.
So I let him off on the freeway. Yeah.
Toughen him up.
I think he thought we were going to stop on the freeway. And I was like, no, you're going to school. I'm getting you to school.
Yes.
So I call AAA, and then you have to do it by AI now, or like
You're
a
not
virtual
talking to a real-
assistant.
Yes.
Well, it's a text, so it's
Yes.
supposed to be easier. So it says it's going to take like 50 minutes. I'm like
50?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I'm used to this because this happened last time. So then every time I check back, the number has gone up. Somehow it's going to take longer than it did. Now it's up to 60.
Yes.
So I'm talking to Jimmy, and he's like, well, is that place nearby? Do they do tires? So I go and I look, and it's just a lube place. I walk back to my car, and then he says, well, maybe you could leave the car at the gas station.
Sure.
And just lift, to work and
Yeah.
lift back and then deal with it. And I'm like, well, every single, sign says tow. And he goes, well, go in and ask. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm not in anybody's
Yeah.
way. So I asked the guy, and he's like, well, let me get the manager. So this young girl comes out.
Yes.
And I said, are you the manager? And she goes, I can help you. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means.
She's like, I'm not going to tell you my identity.
Yeah. You don't get to know my pronouns or my position.
Yeah, that's my business. Who are you to know?
Right.
It's like when you get a call, when somebody calls you and says, "Is this Danielle Koenig?" and you're like, "Who's this?"
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the head of the household. Who may I say is calling?
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm looking for the head of the household. So I explained what happened. AAA said it's going to take like at least an hour to get here. Can I just leave it for a few hours? And she was like, "Oh no." I said, "Well, it's not." I didn't.
We need all this space freed up.
I did not get argumentative.
Sure.
I said, well, it's right there. It's not in anyone's way because it's literally a parking space.
Yes.
It's not blocking the pumps. It's, And she was like, no, the owner would not allow that. He won't allow that. I'm like, okay. So then I text him. I go, she won't let me. And then he goes, well, try the school. I'm like, oh, great idea. It's locked. There's a lock. You can't get in to park at the school.
Okay.
I see a parking space,
Yes.
like a clear parking space at the school.
Yes.
Right in front of me. And it's like a chain lock, and I can't risk going into the school to ask because I'm afraid, ironically, I'll get towed.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that's the best thing.
Right, but they'll tow me to an impound lot and not
now you're $450
exactly
less rich.
So then I just watched, and even these like guys who were driving school buses, I guess there's a field trip on the second to last week of school or the third to last. So there were these school buses, and the guys were like, she wouldn't let you. And I said, nope. So then someone pulled out of a space across the street from the school. So I was able to park there. I canceled AAA, took a lift.
Yes.
And now I got to deal with it all over again.
How fun for you.
Yes.
You have this to look forward to.
I'm so excited. So I know we don't have as much time because we do have a guest today.
We do.
But do you want to briefly tell us about 9 to 5?
It was wonderful.
You went to see 9 to 5.
At the Autry.
Right.
And I took a 12-year-old girl and a 13-year-old.
Okay.
Who I think enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it? Okay.
They said they did.
Okay.
I thought it was wonderful. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I saw it during the pandemic, and I actually remembered it being funnier than it was.
I think when you see it with an audience, it's of course makes a difference. Because I was just laughing, and I was like, oh my God, Dolly Parton is so talented.
Yeah, she is.
I was like, she's such a good actress, and she's so funny and like so beautiful.
Are you laughing at the notion of Chris discovering that Dolly Parton is talented?
I mean, I already knew.
There, stars in her eyes. Dolly Parton is such a
I just
talent.
haven't seen her in anything recently. And,
That's
and
true, yeah.
And that was her first. Was that her first acting?
I don't know, because she did a lot of stuff in that time period.
Yeah.
She was she did quite a few movies. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was fun, and we just had a really good time. So
Good.
First, I guess we already did this topic, and
Yeah.
I guess it's been long enough ago, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
It was a long time ago.
You know what though? I think it's going to be different this time.
Science
Probably
changes.
because I think I did the research last time. So it will, by necessity, probably be different.
It's going to be different. And
Let me ask you this. When you Googled it,
Yeah.
did the links come up in a different color, like you'd already been there. They're lavender or whatever.
I was like, wait, who's been opening links? Who's been Googling midlife crisis on my computer?
Oh, well,
I guess
ding, 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 ding.
One of my kids maybe is having a midlife crisis. This was, so we have listeners who have been requesting topics.
Yes.
And it's been for our upcoming episodes,
for our Friday
in the
episodes,
summer.
yeah.
But I thought, well, this is a fun pairing for our guest.
Great.
So I'm going to just go ahead and use one of our guests' requests because I thought it paired well, not realizing we've done it a while back. But you know what? Maybe people can use this help now.
Well, the guest didn't realize. I mean, the
guest didn't.
Not the guest, the listener didn't realize.
So we're going to talk about a midlife crisis today, which is considered, I'm going to tell you what it is first for those of you who don't know what it is considered, a transitional stage in which an aging person, which is all of it, we're all aging, everyone is. 12-year-olds are aging.
Sure.
They reassess their life, their choices, their identity. It can be a period of emotional turbulence and self-reflection. But we're not all going to experience it. Okay?
Is this supposed to happen daily?
I was just going to say,
I know.
Was this supposed to happen daily since you're 10? Because I think I've been in a midlife crisis since then.
I think, I feel like it's like I'm always in one.
Yeah.
I've always been in one.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the time it's thought to occur.
Okay.
Between the ages of 40 and 60.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you also, it's a made-up thing.
Oh,
Okay?
all right.
It's not like diabetes. It's also not like depression, which is actually a diagnosable thing that is connected to chemicals in the brain.
Yeah.
It's something just that a psychoanalyst named Elliot Jacques, he coined it in the 1960s based on some men who were in their 30s coming into his office being like, I'm depressed because my career is like not what I thought it was going to be.
Oh, okay.
So it's a totally made up concept
Right.
that we've all decided is a real thing.
Okay.
And it's also really only considered real in Western cultures.
Oh.
That's not
okay.
even considered a thing in other cultures.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to be one of the few conditions that are inspired by a made-up timeline.
Yes.
Or societal expectations, pretty much.
Yes. It doesn't have to be happening. Like, you can go through this sort of questioning younger, right? And there's other psychologists who are like, yeah, that's not what I think. Like Jung, who came actually before this Elliot Jacques, he called midlife the afternoon of life rather than a crisis. And there's also a lot of research that says people get happier in midlife and more content and then only start to feel bad like when they get elderly and their health really falls apart. Right?
Gotcha.
And so it's kind of a stereotype too, this idea of middle-aged men buying fancy cars or ending
Right.
marriages to regain a sense of youth. It's not, doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Right.
Okay. But let's look at some studies. Only about 10 to 20% of adults claim to have experienced a midlife crisis.
Okay.
So it's kind of a small, like I said, some people feel happier as they enter midlife. But let's look at some things that happen in midlife. Some people have to take on responsibilities they didn't expect, like caring for aging parents or unexpected job losses, you know, like having to learn a new career.
Yes.
It's not, things are different than they used to be. It's not like you go, well, I got this job in my 20s and I worked there until I retired
Right.
and then I got this watch and a pension. That's
Yes.
not how the world works anymore.
No.
For most people. I'm going to tell you some signs that you might be having a midlife crisis.
Oh, I like signs.
I like those too. Okay. So, first of all, the severity can be different for every person. Gender plays a role.
Yes.
Women may go through this period of like self-reflection when they find they don't have to care for others to the extent they once did and now are able to finally look at their own needs for once. That can be a little bit scary to have more choices
right.
of like, oh, I don't have to do all this caretaking anymore. Now what does that mean?
Right.
Men might be more likely to regret their past decisions and how they've affected their present situation.
Gotcha.
So like, oh, if I would have done this,
If I take that job, or if I,
I screwed this up and I screwed that up. Okay, here's some signs to look out for. If you were a man, the number one sign, I thought this was interesting, that you were in a midlife crisis, starting a Steely Dan cover band.
What?
You made that up.
Yeah. But But doesn't it sound true?
And you know what they would be called, right?
Tell me.
Feeling in the eaves.
I'm so happy that you remembered that.
Steely
It
Dad.
came up recently in our house.
You did it?
It's just it's just why I remembered it.
It's so funny to me that we saw them live.
It's so funny to you.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that on the way there you thought that those were the lyrics.
Cleaning out my leaves. The number one sign if you're a woman, it's weird. It's the same. Okay, here are some additional signs to watch out for. Deep sadness and regret. So maybe you obsess over what you perceive to be missed opportunities in past relationships or jobs. Oh, what if I would have stayed with that guy?
Right.
Wanted me to buy my own sun chips. So it can make you feel dissatisfied with your present, right? Like, oh, if I would have taken that job, I'd be so much further ahead.
Yeah.
You may, but that's going to cause you to overlook the good aspects of your life. And it also discounts the fact that you really don't, that's that sliding doors thing where you don't get to do that. You don't get to take that journey.
Right.
And know a lot of crappy stuff could have happened too.
Yeah.
We don't get to do that. Here's another, restlessness and daydreaming. So your daily routine may be tedious and exhausting. Like if you're, you have somebody living in your house that has dementia and you're caring for that, one of your parents, and then you have a job that's, you're a nurse also, and your kids are going through some stuff. That's a hard day.
Yeah.
So maybe you have a daydream about another life, where you're, dating
Pedro Pascal.
and that's sexy and exciting. And so you spend a lot of time in that daydream. But that fantasy can make it hard to focus on the good in front of you.
Right.
Especially if there's not a lot of good in that life
Yeah.
right now. It's hard to be like, what the good thing is that every night when I'm done cleaning everyone's diapers,
Yeah, I get to do the dishes.
I get to scrape all the food off the dishes that nobody ate. Like it's hard to find the good
Yeah.
sometimes.
It also makes it, I've done the daydreaming thing a little bit, and it is really depressing when you come out of it. Mm-hmm. It's worse. It's like, oh, well, that's never going to happen. So now I just feel worse than I did before I was daydreaming.
Yeah. Mine with older is that it helps me to spend less money because I think if you don't save, you're going to be stuck with Alex taking care of you.
Oh, and
she'll
be a tyrant.
I'll be stuck in her closet or in a cage, like those people that kept one of their kids in a cage.
Yes.
But they had Great Dane, so it was a big cage. But I'll be in a dog cage and just in my own feces.
And she will withhold pudding from you.
For sure. And I don't even really like pudding. But
Remember that time you didn't let me get candy?
Let me get my candy.
Yeah.
all the things.
Oh, God, it's going to be a living hell.
Yeah, so I got to be careful with.
Do you think she has, told her brother you're dead or something? Like, how is she keeping you from everyone else?
I think he's going to.
He's probably busy with his restaurant.
He's going to be out in his cabin. You
Yeah.
know, he's going to be.
He's Ted Kaczynskiing it up.
He's got his spearfish and his lobster, and he's hunting his deer. I don't know where these are both in the same place. Maine,
Lobster and deer. Yeah.
Maine. He's in
Maine,
Maine in his cabin, and she's keeping me from contacting him. Like she's convinced him that I'm really happy and doing well, and she'll pose me in pictures where I look with a blanket.
This is so sick.
I'm in a rocker with a blanket over me, and she holds my face into a smile.
Yeah, and she texts as you.
Yeah, and she's
Right.
like, "Honey, I'm fine. Alex is taking such good care of me." And then she throws me back in the cage.
Oh my
Just eats Mike and Ike's in front of you.
Yeah. Okay, next tip.
Yeah.
Or no, next sign. Irritability. When you feel like the choices you made in the past have limited your potential.
Oh yeah.
This can make you feel mad.
Yes.
Real mad. You might get annoyed with your spouse, your aging parents, your closest friends, just for little minor shit that they do.
Yep.
Because you're like, I'm in this position and it's my fault. Maybe it's your fault.
Yeah.
Here's something. This feels like something, I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong if you think this is a thing that men do more than women. Because I don't want to, it's not like me dogging on men. It's more of a nostalgia.
Yes.
Rather than focus on the positives of the present, you begin to idealize your past.
100%.
Maybe you reminisce about how much free time you had, how good your butt looked, all those cigarettes you can never smoke again. That's me.
Yeah.
But this whole things back then.
Yes, Jimmy definitely is much more in touch and wax rhapsodic about his past. I do not. I more think like, oh, I should have done this then.
I think that too.
I don't really. I mean,
Not about you. About you.
Yeah. Oh, there's a long list.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are definitely moments that are nice, but I never think, oh, that was such a great. I don't think I ever think that was such a great time.
Me either.
I think that was nice, but I remember all the other things that
Same.
weren't nice about it, and I wish I had done this to make it better.
Got it. Because you have the wisdom now also
Yeah.
to have been like, oh, why did I give such a fuck about this? Or
Right, exactly.
I'm never like, I wish I could go back to this time.
I only think that so I could do it better.
Yeah.
I never think I want to relive. Like, it's having a kid who's about to graduate high school. It's hard not to go, wow, he's got it all ahead of him. And like, I kind of wish I still did. And I would have done it this way. But obviously I wouldn't have because I didn't.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
You only know what you know.
You
when
only know
it.
what you know it. And yeah, I mean, I think that's the sort of wishes if we could have what we have now and could go back. And I think that's very common and totally understandable.
Yeah.
I saw a post from somebody once that talked about how when you're gay and you're growing up, you don't get to live your authentic self. For a lot of, I mean, now it's a lot different, but
Sure.
like, especially when I was growing up, you don't get to exist as yourself
Yeah.
until it, maybe not ever,
Yeah.
Right.
but until later. And that resonated with me a lot because I was basically, I like locked myself away.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go out with, I didn't go with friends anywhere. I didn't, because
Yeah.
I was so afraid of doing something that,
They're going to see it.
that would show that. And I just kind of,
That's awful.
Oh, Karen.
yeah. And you don't, that's some of the thoughts I think about. Like, I didn't get to do this. I didn't get to go out and do all this kind of stuff when I was a kid. I didn't do all this. I didn't go to my prom. I didn't go to
Right.
senior skip. I didn't do any of that shit.
Yes.
So now I think the things that I latched onto are the things that brought me joy when I was a kid. Movies, fucking pizza, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Fucking pizza, literally.
Yes.
Yes.
American,
Guys.
American
I've seen
Pie.
that. I've seen that on
Yeah,
OnlyFans. You posted it. It's fun.
So it's for me. It's still, I'm learning who I am and what I'm even doing, because all of that growth and stuff that I should have experienced never happened.
that is
because I was in
so-
my room, watching movies and doing whatever.
Right.
And I didn't have really anybody else that I was really connected to. I had friends, but I was so locked away that
Yeah.
I don't think any of them to this day might not really know me.
Wow.
It really stunted
One of
you.
them. Yeah, it was very
Thank God it's different
eye-opening
now.
to see that.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
'cause, I mean, I
Yeah.
can see families on TikTok doing all this stuff together. I'm like, that kid is absolutely queer, and you are
Yeah.
uplifting him instead
Yes.
of
Yeah.
telling me, like my dad saying, if she makes a joke about taking you to the rainbow room one more time, I'm going to rip her fucking head off. That stuff
Yeah.
sticks in people's heads.
Of course it is.
Yes. Yes.
It's-
Yes.
Yeah, so period.
That's so interesting. I mean, it's so wonderful that you have that insight too, though, into
Yes.
what
Yeah.
what you need now, and that you're able to, I don't know, heal that kid.
It's a journey.
Yeah,
It's a journey.
it's lifelong, but you're doing it. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Trying.
Sexual desire changes.
Yeah.
You may want more. You may want none. You may have thoughts about cheating. You may even engage in an affair.
Ooh.
Thoughts about someone younger may be tied, maybe, to your insecurity about getting older. Maybe.
No.
I don't know. What? That's crazy. You might have changes in ambition. You may be driven to make a huge change, like moving to a different place, changing your house, getting promoted at work. So your ambition may grow because you're attempting to correct what you see as bad past decisions. The other possibility is you feel a real lack of motivation because you're like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's my purpose?
Right.
Can kind of go either way.
Could fluctuate too.
Now, you guys might be noticing that a midlife crisis sounds a lot like depression.
Yes.
So good news.
It is.
Maybe you aren't even having a midlife crisis at all. Perhaps you are having a depression. So let's take a look at some similarities and differences. So I'm gonna read. There's a chart. I'm gonna tell you what the differences are. Okay, depression is diagnosable mood disorder with an established list of diagnostic criteria in the DSM. Okay. Midlife crisis is not recognized medical psychiatric condition.
Okay.
Symptoms of depression can occur in people of any age, including teenagers and older adults. Midlife crisis occurs in middle adulthood. As I'd said before, they usually say between 40 and 60. Mm-hmm. Depression is often caused by a combination of biological, psychological, and social factors. Midlife crisis is caused by a person's reevaluation of their own life as they age. Depression symptoms may be more persistent or severe. And a midlife crisis is a sense of dissatisfaction that may come and go throughout midlife. So it can kind of come and go.
Yeah.
With depression, you're going to get some treatment that can involve medication, therapy, lifestyle changes. Midlife crisis, the symptoms may subside when you regain a sense of peace in your life's direction.
Right.
If you need medication, you're probably not having a midlife crisis. You're probably having depression. And there's real stressors, right? So you have significant life events during this time. Aging parents, losing parents, financial stress. You've got your own health issues starting to become more real. Like it's not, big things start happening to friends, right?
Yeah.
That you're like, whoa, this is big stuff. And yourself, you get real health scares. It's not just like, my back hurt a little bit. It can be really big stuff. Physical stuff that can feel hard, like, oh, I used to be able to climb a tree or do a cartwheel, or I stepped on a tree branch weird and now my ankle's broken.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what? Who am I now?
I know, it's so infuriating.
That feels hard at this age. Or just like suddenly you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure and you're like, wait a second, how did this happen? Now I need glasses?
Yeah.
Glasses
have not proven effective for high cholesterol.
They
I just
do.
want you to know. I mean, RFK Jr. will have you think otherwise, but there's no scientific.
Are you telling me these are not lowering my HDL or raising
I'm
it?
sure they're not hurting, but I don't think they're helping.
Damn it. What about those days of the do you have a days of the week pill thing yet?
I used to.
Yeah.
I don't anymore because it's the same thing every day and I can remember it. But
So yeah, this kind of stuff, menopause or perimenopause, whatever you're in your middle years, it's got a lot of stuff that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's your bones, they're turning to dust. You hot flashes. I can't sleep. Everything hurts. I'm dry everywhere. And men, they have a drop in testosterone.
Yeah.
That can lead to symptoms such as depression, low sex drive, erectile dysfunction, and hard time sleeping. And maybe that bent carrot thing. Do you guys see that commercial all the time?
Sure.
Peronies? Yeah. Okay.
Supposedly Clinton had a bent dick.
Oh, is that what the rumor is about Clinton?
That was at the time.
Okay.
Oh, is that the rumor? Clinton,
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
Okay, empty nest syndrome. That's a big one. A family change, right? Children moving out of the house can cause grief. It might feel lonely. And you reassess your role as a parent and refocus yourself.
Well, we bought a new couch. It's coming in a few weeks, so we're covered.
You're just going to name it Oliver? Uh-huh. I think that's fine.
We're going to watch, the three of us are going to watch TV, just like we always did.
You, Oliver,
me, Oliver, and Jimmy. We're all going to watch The Amazing Race.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm also very jealous that you're getting a new couch. I want a new couch so bad.
Some googly eyes on it. Like the
Yeah, we're going to draw eyes on it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's very healthy.
And we're going to use a blanket as his hair.
He's coming back to visit. It's like I never left.
Don't sit on Oliver. It's going to make him feel weird.
Get off your brother.
A divorce is another event that might contribute to a tumultuous midlife. Separating from a longtime partner can lead to conflicting emotions. Ugh. Okay, career changes, child adversity as a risk factor. So if you have a high adverse childhood experiences score, that's called ACE score, which
I aced my ACEs.
You probably did.
Yeah.
Garen, I don't know where you're at.
I skipped mine.
I got a big high number, so I'm fucked, guys. But various coping strategies can help manage midlife stressors. Okay, so be fine. I'm going to race through these how to survive tips.
Okay.
Because, guys, I want you to have time for a story.
Yes.
So tip number 1, accept change. Oh, okay, I'll just accept it. An adaptive approach can help you adjust to changes and cultivate emotional resilience, right? Hopefully by now you've become somewhat flexible to change, right?
Yeah.
If you've gotten to in your 40s and you're like, I can't handle change.
Right.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Right.
Get some therapy, man. And that's the next tip, right? Process your feelings, acknowledge them, talk to a trusted friend or a therapist. You can get therapy, online. It's, pretty easy. If we were being sponsored by BetterHelp right now, I'd tell you to talk to them, but we're not. So I'm not going to tell you to talk to them. I'm going to tell you to just find somebody. Look at the situation and see if there's anything you can do to change it.
Right.
If you can't, then you have to say, I have no control.
Yes.
I must accept that I don't have control over this situation, and then narrow your focus to what is within control, right?
Yes.
Okay, I can't control this. Now, if you're in a new role, take little steps. Like say you are suddenly like, oh, I'm taking care of my aging mother. This is a big, overwhelming thing. I can't handle it. Make a list of the things she needs help with immediately.
Right.
Now, just do those tasks, okay? Yeah. And then you can look at all the rest of the things later. Because if you're trying to figure it out all at once,
it's gonna feel like you can't do it.
You're gonna spin out. Okay. Tip number two. Yeah. Have a sense of purpose. I want to tell you guys, your best years are not behind you. Okay. Why not try out something new? Okay. Try a new hobby, photography, creative writing. You don't have to be good at it, guys. Just have fun. Who cares? Foreign language class, help keep your brain sharp.
Yep.
Just do it for the dementia.
Yeah.
For the not dementia.
Right.
You don't want it, okay?
Unless
you want to think your Beyonce having it with the Pedro.
Yeah.
You're going to make some cool new friends. Maybe one. Let's face it. You take a class, everyone's going to be lame, but there's going to be one cool person in there that you can sit in the back with and make fun of everyone else.
That's the best reason to be in a class.
That's the best reason. You're going to make one cool friend, and that's all you need.
You know what's really fun? Is being that person and then making fun of the other people who think they're that person.
Yes.
That's the best.
Yes.
Those two over there think they're the cool kids making fun of everybody, but they're actually the lame.
They're the lame ones. Yep. What about circus school? That's what I want to do.
Like the aerial arts?
Well, they have one in Hollywood that's like handstands, cartwheels. They have the ropes and stuff. And I want to do it so bad. I'm probably going to make you do it with me, Danielle.
I'll do it.
Oh, yes.
I'll absolutely do it.
I'm so excited because the one thing that's stopping me is A, I don't have anybody to do it with, and B, it's in Hollywood, which I hate to go to. But if you were meeting me there, I would do it.
Yeah, I could do that. I want to, you mean like the silks and that kind of stuff?
They have that. I'm mostly interested in starting with handstands because I can do a handstand.
Do you have to go to a class to do that?
Well, yeah, because it builds up your arm strength. Okay. I can do handstands already against a wall, but I want to get stronger.
Yeah, I can't do a handstand.
Well, this is the reason to take the class.
I mean, I could probably do it up against a wall, I guess, but yeah, I don't think I have the balance to do a handstand.
Yeah, I can't do it away from a wall. But this is the thing. Okay. Do stuff that kind of scares you or that you don't know how to do, because I always think this, we're all going to die. Who gives a shit? Fall on your face.
That's kind of what I'm starting to veer into.
Adjust your perception of midlife and aging, okay? Here are some things. I'm going to tell you what you do. Practice gratitude. Make lists of things that are going well in your life. Make a list of your accomplishments. Ask yourself, how have I grown?
Okay. That's good.
Research shows that many middle-aged adults view themselves as more decisive, responsible, and independent than their younger selves.
Okay, that's good.
In addition, self-consciousness tends to decline with age.
Yes, definitely.
We want to acknowledge...
Much to the chagrin of our children.
Yes. I know my daughter's always like, please don't dance.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if I just start dancing right now?
In what world?
In what world do you think it's appropriate? Okay. So, I'm going to tell you guys a story that I think you're going to love.
Great.
I'm going to skip that, how to help someone else experiencing midlife crisis.
Fuck them.
Yeah, you know what? Get your own fucking help.
You can't help somebody else until you put your own mask on.
Yes.
That's right.
Exactly.
As they say in the airplanes.
They can you know how to help them? Have them listen to this podcast.
Exactly.
Right? And then we just solved it. these stories were all like, I was so unhappy in the corporate world. I was working 800 hours a week and my hair was falling out. And I had a crisis of conscience. And then I realized I could help others.
Right.
And I was
it's
like,
never like you found something else that,
yes. Or like a mom who was like, I was so unhappy with my life. So then I booked a spa for 4 days at a really high-end hotel. And I was like, I realized what I really love is my kids and my family. And I was like, yeah, we
And
all.
now she's a trad wife.
Yeah, I'm like, we all love our kids and our family, but that doesn't fucking help any of us. So instead, I'm going to tell you a story called The Midlife Crisis Murder.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. Ashley Swift always viewed her father as a supportive, thoughtful parent. He showed her how to change the oil in her car. He helped her land her first job, then ferried her between there and home. When it was time for college, they talked through the pros and cons of attending right after high school. But 2 years ago, and this was written in 2024, I believe, David Swift, 56, was charged with murder in the killing of someone else who had an outsized influence on Ashley's life. His wife, Ashley's mother. Karen Swift's mysterious and violent death has remained unsolved for more than a decade, and Ashley, then 20, was baffled by her father's arrest. Then came another development. David, who has maintained his innocence, was acquitted at trial earlier this year of the most serious charges, first and second-degree murder. But the jury was deadlocked on the lesser crime of manslaughter.
Oh.
Weeks after a judge declared a mistrial in the case, David was indicted on a manslaughter charge and remains in jail awaiting a new trial. What's really alarming to me during the reading of this article on NBC News is that there's a cat standing up and pee is coming out of its back end and it says, your home smells like cat pee, try this.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
And it just doesn't stop doing, it just doesn't
know.
stop peeing. I don't know why my home does not smell like cat pee.
Cat needs a vet.
Yeah, that cat does need, and it's weird that it's standing up. The ordeal.
It thinks it's a person.
I know, I'm like, this cat has other problems. The ordeal has lasted more than half of Ashley's life. It's something that at first is very difficult, and it's still difficult, but I feel like over time, you cope with things, she told Dateline. But over and over, everywhere I go, every school I went to, every workplace I've worked, it comes up. That would suck. Karen, this is the mom, a 44-year-old mother of four, vanished October 30th, 2011 after picking Ashley up early from a sleepover and falling asleep with her at their home in Dyersburg, a small town roughly 80 miles north of Memphis. Shortly after, Karen's SUV was found nearby with a flat tire. Uh-oh. Danielle,
someone's trying to kill me.
Watch yourself. As were her two phones. Both of them had been damaged. Terry McCrate, chief investigator with the Dyer County Sheriff's Office, told Dateline. In interviews with local authorities, David said he wanted to help however he could and detailed the couple's turbulent 2 decades together. Recordings show they'd had 2 children after marrying in 1989, then divorced after he had an affair, he said. They later remarried and had 2 more children, including Ashley, before Karen had an affair, David said. When she went missing, David believed she was having a midlife crisis. She'd started drinking, sometimes heavily, he said, and partying with new friends. Weeks before her disappearance, he said, she'd served him with divorce papers. Even though he believed she was lost, he said in one of the interviews, I still love her and care about her. While David told authorities Karen appeared to have withdrawn from their relationship, her friends told Dateline that in the last months of her life, she'd become more independent, social, and confident.
Okay.
To Ashley, who was 9 at the time, her mother was a parent who went to every game and every dance competition. All the things she was there, Ashley said. Though she also noticed a change in her mother. She said, Karen was going out so often, Ashley recalled, that she tearfully pleaded with her mother to stay home.
Oh my God.
I remember that. Short on evidence. 6 weeks after Karen disappeared, her remains were found near a local cemetery. The medical examiner determined that she died from blunt force trauma to the head.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt.
Ooh.
Authorities focused on what they viewed as possible evidence linking David to the killing. Karen had obtained one of her 2 phones to avoid being monitored by her husband and had sought to keep it secret from him, Goodman said at trial. David told investigators he didn't know about Karen's second phone, but authorities found the device's number programmed into David's work phone.
Oh.
And during his interview with authorities, McCrate said David seemed unable to focus on anything besides his wife's behavior. That was just a sign to me that this guy is hiding something. He's covering something up. Despite those suspicions, there was no physical or eyewitness evidence linking David to the homicide. The investigation stalled. David moved to Alabama and remarried.
Okay.
And her father remained an involved parent, taking her to her grocery store job and teaching her to work on her Jeep. As Ashley got older, she said she wanted to know more about what had happened to her mother, but grew increasingly hopeless at the prospect. I got to an age where I realized I would never know what happened. 2 years ago, when David was arrested and charged in her mother's killing, Ashley recalled how distraught she was over the development. Her father and stepmother had split up, which left Ashley scrambling to find care for her younger sister. She was also confused. I was trying to figure out why. Goodman, the prosecutor, said he believed his predecessor had been waiting for evidence that would make the case against David a slam dunk.
Okay, that's why it took so long.
But 4 years ago, the COVID pandemic prompted a slowdown in cases that gave prosecutors time to review 30 large bins of files.
Oh, wow.
And Karen's killing. They didn't uncover what Goodman called the one big thing that could be used in the effort to prosecute David, he said. What they found instead, he said, was a puzzle with a clear motive. I think he saw that he was losing control because in the past he was able to control everything that Karen did. He saw that was starting to slip away. David was so furious over Karen's drinking, partying, and the impending divorce that he violently plotted her death, prosecutors said when they tried the case earlier this year. After Karen returned home from picking Ashley up, Goodman said, the two had fallen asleep in the same bed. Goodman alleges that at some point that night, David put Ashley in the same room as her younger sister, then dragged Karen from her bedroom to the garage. Ugh. The medical examiner... Okay. This is a little rough, guys, so if anybody wants to check out, I don't mind. The medical examiner had attributed Karen's cause of death to a skull fracture that came from being stomped on. Oh, and in court, Goodman told the jury that David had used such violence in the assault that the fatal blow caved her skull in.
Oh, my God.
Then David allegedly loaded Karen into a car, dumped her body at the cemetery, and staged the crime to make it appear that she'd been abducted, Goodman said. At trial, prosecutors detailed the circumstantial evidence, the possible lie about Karen's secret phone, and David's demeaning comments about Karen to investigators, and said there was no evidence that she planned on going back out after she picked up Ashley. Karen's autopsy showed that she'd taken a sleep aid, and her phones were inactive after she got home. Prosecutors also raised an important new detail about Karen's secret phone. Although there was no activity on her device after she got in bed with Ashley, a forensic extraction found that someone used the secret phone hours later to call the device's voicemail.
Oh.
Okay, so we know that there was one adult in the Swift home at 9:55 in the morning, Box said. All right, so in court, defense lawyer Daniel Taylor said David was not overly controlling, but generally concerned about his partner. There was no evidence to support the state's description of the murder, no blood in the garage or car, and no evidence that David ever left the house. Even the medical examiner who'd provided Karen's cause of death told the prosecutor he no longer believed she'd been fatally stomped, Goodman told Dateline. The conclusion that a phone call was made inside the Swifts' home that Saturday morning was based on unreliable evidence. He added that David's physical condition would have made it impossible to commit the kind of crime Goodman alleged. At the time of Karen's death, David had re-injured his knee and was on crutches. David's physical therapist testified he would have had extreme difficulty walking and lifting. Goodman accused David of faking the re-injury and said he was seen moving hay bales the day before the killing.
Don't move hay bales if you're going to...
Stomp your wife?
Yeah.
The next day?
Right. It's not a good look.
No. How are you going to have the strength? But he did. If he did. It was not David who moved her that night. Oh, Ashley, who testified at the trial, this is the daughter, also disputed the prosecutor's allegations. It was not David who moved her that night, she testified. It was her mom. I will go to my grave knowing that it was my mother, she told Dateline. So she really doesn't think. She really believes her dad.
But even if her mother did move her, it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean he didn't do it.
Right.
It's also like, if you're the daughter, it's got to be hard. You've already lost your mom.
I know. And then you got to face the fact that your dad killed her.
I know.
She was like 9. Right?
I know.
Jesus Christ.
Ashley, now a dental hygienist in Alabama, recalled
Wait, did Ashley do it?
Ashley might have done it.
She stomped her mom.
She might have stomped her mom.
Well, she was a dancer.
She was, you're right. Her mom went all
took a tap shoe and just bashed her in the head.
Those tap shoes can be deadly.
That would be a good Columbo. If this were 50 years ago.
Shirley
or poker.
Temple.
It could be a good a good poker face.
Good poker face, yeah.
Okay, so that's the story.
That's crazy. But I wonder why they're hung up on manslaughter, because usually you're hung up because like the difference between the different murder charges would be whether someone was lying in wait or, it was premeditated, But this is either he did it or he didn't do it.
Well, this is interesting. It says, okay, after 5 days of testimony and 2 days of deliberation, the jury reached its decision acquitting David of murder but remaining deadlocked on the manslaughter charge. So they have to do a retrial. A date for his retrial has not been scheduled.
Okay.
So there will be another trial
That's fascinating.
on this. They're going to have to go through all of this again.
So if you're going to have a midlife crisis, make sure you're not married to a psychopath.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the phone is super fucking weird. She
Yes.
had the secret phone, but then he had the number. How did he get it?
Sounds like he was really controlling.
Or maybe that would make it sound more like he's innocent. No, she gave me this number.
Yeah,
but why would she have two phones?
I knew
then?
about her both phones.
Yeah.
One was for her affair, and one was for me.
Right.
I was totally cool with that other affair thing. I mean, they'd already been married and divorced.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fun house to grow up
It
in.
really does. Okay, well, that was really interesting. All right, well, on that note, we will be back right after this with our guests.
Can't wait.
Hello, welcome back.
Hey,
How was your break?
great.
I'm just kidding. I was with you the whole time.
I know,
We
we-
both went to pee.
We have to go together.
Yeah,
that's
we're ladies.
It's in our
tradition.
contract.
Yeah, we've cycled our peas to be the same. That was the other thing during the whole, flat tire was, of course, I had to pee the whole time.
Oh man,
Just had to hold it.
oh, you should have just gone on the side of the road.
Just
It's
right,
LA.
just right in front of my son's high school.
It's
that
the
would have been
least
great.
It's the least worst thing.
I think this is the best way for you to end your high school career. Just your mother peeing. It's either this or dancing, honey. Didn't want me to dance. Yeah. So
He would be fine with that, I think.
I don't really think he would be. As sweet-tempered as he is, I think even he would probably have a problem with that. Well, on the first half of our show, we discussed how to survive a midlife crisis.
We did.
Now we're going to discuss how to survive a job crisis with writer and comedian Joe Kwaczala.
Hi.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
This is great. I'm excited to tell my story. Finally. To let it
Finally.
out.
Put it out into the world.
Long last.
Are you admitting to something?
No. But I don't think I've told this story publicly before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We always love when they say like, Ellen DeGeneres admits to, enjoying this for breakfast. Like they always
It's
use
like,
admit.
admit,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, like it's she's coming clean.
Long held secret
She likes
shame.
granola.
Yes, the scoop. They got the scoop
Literally.
on the granola.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is funny when you see like you ever see the Deadline articles that came out of someone's comment on a podcast? Where
Yes.
Where you're like, whose publicist is working overtime to learn that this woman auditioned for the White Lotus?
Right. I don't think it's the publicity. I always think it's just the news outlet scrambling for
Slow. It's
content.
they didn't fill their quota for
Right.
the hour, and they're like, all right, what do you got? I listened to a podcast. A woman auditioned for White Lotus. Run with it. Go.
Yeah, go.
Yes.
Go.
Go.
She could have been. If only she had done better
Yeah,
in the
right.
audition. She could have been that part. So, Joe.
Yes. I'm
What is your story?
admitting to
Yes.
my to my long held secret. So this does have to do with a job. This was when I was in my late 20s, and I was kind of looking for any gig, any,
Yeah.
money. I'm looking for money.
Yes.
Sure.
essentially. And I got an email that was a one-day thing, $100, take part in a research study.
Okay.
Which can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah,
Right? But
Yes.
I'm at a point where I'm like, well, let's see what this is. It's $100. I'll take it. We'll see. I don't have to consent to anything that I don't want to. I
Right.
can go in
Sure.
with that kind of attitude. And so I respond. They accept me. I am to go to Valley College.
Okay.
okay.
Which I believe is around here. When I was
Very
when I was on the
close.
highway, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm going to talk about that
That
place."
is my alma mater.
Is it? Okay. So you may know all about what I'm about to talk about.
He paid for his degree doing all research studies. Yeah.
The lay of the land, you can, but because where I reported to, I went to like an auditorium. I remember sitting. They put me. That was a holding area.
Okay.
I got there and they're like, okay, you go over here, fill out some forms. and I'm in, like a theater, like, seats in a stage, just me and one other guy. We chit-chat a little bit, but not a lot. He's got kind of like a, hey, you doing this too? Kind of thing.
Got it. Okay.
I shut down when that kind of energy is coming at me. I'm just like, yeah, man. All right, I'm kind of busy. I got a lot of forms. I've been done with my forms for 10 minutes.
100 seats in here. Why are you sitting
just
right
when
next to me?
somebody speaks to you directly, you shut down?
It was kind of the attitude. It's both the context and the attitude. It was like, I don't know what I'm in for.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
kind of in my head.
Yes.
And then there's a guy who's a little bit more like, hey. Almost
Hey,
like
brother.
we're buddies
Yes.
in the clink,
Right.
It's like,
Yes.
What they got you for? And I'm just kind of like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, you
pleasant.
don't want to make a new best friend.
Yes.
Not necessarily.
We're not in this together.
Not that I
Yes.
know of, but
Yes.
maybe.
So you're tracing over your own name on the floor.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm just
spelled it out.
I've got the pen just like a millimeter above the paper where I've
Yeah.
clearly done the work. Minutes
When
ago.
will iPhones be invented?
Yeah. So this guy, but the normal guy, I guess, is
Sure.
he will be a part of this though, clearly, because he's sitting here with me. We wait for, it feels like we wait for an hour or two. Like it feels like we're in there. We're in there for a while. I believe I brought a book, and it's just not sure what we're getting into. Eventually, they call us both.
And it's just you two.
Just the two of us in like this auditorium, like right. You would assume, there's got to be a smaller room.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They were expecting a lot more people to show up.
Man.
I mean, 2 hours at Valley College, you could get your degree from Valley.
Yeah, just ask Garrett.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you did an hour and a half, right?
It took me 3 hours, actually.
Oh, wow.
A little bit of a slow
right.
study.
But slow and steady wins it, right? So,
Look at him now.
I know. Look where I got you. So it feels like we're there for a little too long, but they called both of us in at the same time. So maybe I should have established some sort of rapport with this gentleman. And we get called into the office of the guy who is running the study. And he walks us through what this is going to be. He says they are researching the effects on isolation.
Oh,
Okay.
God. Okay.
And I don't remember if he specifically said it, but like solitary confinement kind of stuff.
Jeez, I'm scared
First of
already.
all, haven't they already done all the fucking research they need to do on solitary
this has been
confinement and
established,
isolation?
like-
Yes. Like in the 60s?
Yeah, like
The way he presented it was that the types of studies that they're doing could be helpful when in the context of space travel.
Okay.
I don't know if he said prison, but in my head, all I could think was prison,
Right,
prison,
of course.
prison.
yeah.
Am I going to be imprisoned?
Or shot into space.
Yeah, I mean,
Valley College.
Valley College's rocket program.
Have a huge astrophysics
Yeah,
program there.
So yeah, I'm already thinking like, okay, I don't know about this. Going to put me in a room. Would I do it? $100.
Yeah, $100.
At least you won't be with that guy if you're isolated.
Right. If it's solitary, if it's
Yeah.
truly solitary, but
Yeah.
maybe that's their spin on it.
Right.
We're trying solitary confinement with two people.
With an annoying guy.
Yeah, right. But then they reveal, so what we are going to be tasked with doing is we are going to be calling up candidates that they have selected for this study, that they have like pre-screened and have determined would be, based on the demographics that they are looking at, would be, these are their leads for this particular study.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, great. So this isn't on me.
You're just calling them.
They would just like us, to help them recruit for this.
Okay.
They needed a little extra help to get bodies in holes. Where I don't know wherever they're putting these people.
I'm sure you had cards printed that said that.
Yeah, I was hoping if I really got some people recruited, then
Yeah.
I could be like, do you need a body in a hole?
Yeah.
I have experience.
Or a hole in a body. Whatever.
I got a few of those. So yeah, it's they are. So he's laying out what we are going to be doing, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to pick some of these people, and they are going to be put into isolation for. Man, I have to guess based on my memory. It was like, we'll put them in there for 24 hours or like 36 hours. I recall it being like a long
Yes.
period of time to, see effects of what this can do to you. And so, that seems serious. And as he's explaining this, his phone rings. and he takes the call on speaker in front of the two of us, and it's like, hey Dan, it's Jen from the lab. Just calling about your confinement study, the isolation study. We've been talking it over, and we have determined that there are too many ethical issues with this particular study, and so we are not going to be going forward with this.
Whoa.
But you can go forward with the kids' jokes study. That's great.
This guy's got a wide variety of interests.
I mean, when you're researching at the university level, college level, excuse me,
junior college level.
Yeah, junior college level. But yeah, and so she's like, you can go forward with that, but we're gonna have to.
So random.
We're gonna have to stop down on the isolation study, so that will not be going forward. And he hangs up, and he has this look. I think I recall him even like taking a finger to the lip. Of like
very professorial.
Yes, a little, maybe too professorial. And as this is happening, I'm going, okay, that makes my job complicated here. And then after like a moment of finger on lip, he looks at us and he goes, okay, so the kids' joke story is this cute little thing that we're doing where like we're teaching kids how to say jokes, and then we see how well they can tell. It's really cute. We're really excited about that. Anyway, back to the study. When you call these people,
no,
yeah,
he's
right.
going rogue.
So he's going rogue, and I'm starting to get suspicious on a number of levels. But what really gets me suspicious is when he's like, he starts to go through the process of when you call people, there might be some resistance. If to them doing this study, obviously it's pretty extreme. But if you get resistance and then you are able to push through it and convince them and take them from a no to a yes, we will give you a bump in pay. And at this point, this is starting to sound like a very basic psychology 101 experiment on me.
Okay. I was gonna.
I'm like positive reinforcement. Like I'm seeing all the different like classic studies and experiments that I have learned about in like psychology classes, and just like
what can they get you to do?
Exactly.
So the whole thing, the phone call is planned.
Yes.
It's
And
all.
then
Of course, he takes it on speaker so
in
you
front of
hear
us.
it,
And it's
right.
kid jokes.
Finger on the
Finger
lip.
on
Yeah.
lip.
Yeah, kids joke to distract us. Right,
Yes.
that's like a red herring or something. That's like to something he can respond to transition out of the uncomfortable moment. And then I'm starting to notice, like, oh, this guy, like, where are we? We are not in an office, really. We are in his desk is like a card table. And his phone is like,
What?
His phone is out of like a play. Like it's an old, like the kind of phone you would get at like when you're at Goodwill and you're just like walking through the aisles and you see like an old ass
Old-timey
phone.
phone.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he has like maybe like one plant on his card table. It's like, this is not the desk of a professor who's running a study.
Yeah.
And then I notice in the corner there's a mirror. Like
Oh my
that
God.
clearly like a camera is behind.
Right.
And at this point, now I have to make a choice. Because on one hand, I'm thinking, do I blow this for the other guy?
Right.
Sure.
Like, are they like, if I call this out, are they going to then lose two possible subjects to their research, which is on us?
And do you care?
Yeah, right.
And your money.
Do I?
And your money.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Like, am I still going to get paid? I'm pretty sure I'll get paid because then that's my motivation to ending it quickly. Because like, if I'm just like, I'm out,
You're not going to
you owe me money.
Right.
Yes.
Now my per hour rate has gone up way higher than I thought it would be. Because
Oh, you think they would pay you no matter what?
$100 flat.
Okay.
Got it.
Regardless of how long I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I get
Okay.
out there quick, then that's
Get your money
Okay.
faster.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so yeah, I'm trying to like figure out what I'm gonna do, and he's still talking, and he's starting to like give us badges, Like this, yeah. This thing is obviously still going and in motion as I'm like figuring out what my move is. And he's starting to give us, like here are your badges for the building.
Oh,
that will
okay.
Take you into different rooms, and I'm a little
Why
bit
do you
like,
need to? Right, you're just making phone calls.
At Valley College?
I know, but I want to know what's in the rooms.
And are the people
Ashton Kutcher's in the rooms.
the people you're calling, are they students? Has it been told to you like you're going to be calling students, you're going to be calling?
I think they maybe implied it's like low income families and
Jesus.
to complicate the ethical things behind this is people who
Need the
would
money?
need the money to do a study that's this extreme.
Okay,
I
Gotcha.
think is part of it. But then I'm thinking like, oh, but I'm not going to be calling real people. Like, is this funny to go forward?
Right.
Is it enough to waste my time
Yes.
Right.
to just see what are in the rooms?
Yeah.
Like how are these people calling? Like, can I mess with them when I call them? But then I'm also just thinking like, I kind of would like to just leave and get my money.
Yeah.
And so, he finishes his spiel and then asks us like if we have any questions. And I'm like, well, maybe it could be useful for his study if I'm like, no, I will not. I will not, based on the call and the I heard that woman. I more or less do this, I don't like stand up, but I'm like, no, I am not gonna take part in this study. And he's like, well, why not? And I'm like, well, I heard the woman and the ethical complications and the fact that she's stopping it, and you clearly ignored her, and I won't do it on those grounds because I understand it is the wrong thing to do. And he kind of tries to push me. He must have like a flow chart script of what to do. And he's like, oh no, well, it's all above board, and he keeps going. And then at a certain point, I'm like, the study is on me. Like I get what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir, and to you, and to you.
Did the
and
other
point at
guy's
camera.
jaw just fall on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, he really like kind of stopped in his tracks and and then took a moment and went, well, yeah. Okay, that is what's happening here. We are doing a study
Amazing.
based on peer pressure, and if people go along with things and systems and institutions, if things are in motion, and positive reinforcement, all the things that I'd kind of thought.
Right.
And then he's like, "This is Mike. He's an actor."
Oh,
He was in on it too. Okay.
And so the guy, so he had a whole role. He didn't even get to do anything really outside of being like, "Hey, brother," like
Right.
before. He must have had a whole arc that he
to like convince you or so. Oh,
You ruined it.
I know, and I was like, I wonder what his role was going to be, because I can see like the two ways to go about it. One could be like, I don't know, man, should we be doing this?
right.
Or his other thing could be like, I guess he would probably pivot based on what I was doing.
Exactly.
Like if I'm playing the I don't know, man, he could be like, come on,
Yeah.
it's great, easy money. These people, they're
Yeah.
poor, they're not real. And
Right.
like have to be like, But yeah, he didn't even get to do anything. And I am curious, because they must have done this a number
I'm
of times.
sure.
Yes.
And you know what? You're probably the only person. No, seriously.
The look on his face, I
People
got
are
the
dumb.
sense.
And I don't even know, like, even you telling me the story, even though I thought it was so weird that he would take the call on speaker, it didn't even
Consider.
occur to me that it was
Yeah.
fake. I mean, maybe if I were in the situation, it would occur to me it was fake. But
also when you're surrounded by that stuff and it's all happening, like I don't know, it took a lot for me to like say it out
Sure.
loud,
I'm
because
impressed.
you're like confronting them
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
way, and usually in most situations, social or professional or whatever, you don't want to ruffle feathers. You're
Right.
just kind of going through a thing that's happening, especially if like they're paying you. You take a back seat and you're part of the machine.
Right.
But I don't know. It got so obvious to me that it was.
did you say like
comical.
maybe you shouldn't have a picture on your desk of your family and your family is black and you're white? Like
Right.
maybe you should try it a little harder.
He did ask. He was like, "Can you help us and tell us like what about this made it so obvious to you?" And I was just like, the going through the motions of it, it's just very Psych 101. Like
Yeah.
it was ringing every bell, like the Milgram experiment.
The
like
kid joke
Stanford
thing
prison.
for me was the dad. As soon as they said we're doing a thing, kid jokes, I was like, this is fake. It's on him.
Oh, see, you're
And maybe
smarter
that's
than
well.
I am.
No, I think I was a psych major, so I think
understand the tactics.
The tactics are just
Oh, okay.
you learn so much of that when you're
I've
studying
never
that.
taken a psychology
So it was very like, oh God.
Yeah, here we go.
So
the desk
funny.
of community college theater props probably didn't help.
Why is
Yeah.
there a magnifying glass on here and an
Right,
old pipe?
a big key, and
Yeah,
like
right.
all these. Yeah,
A candlestick? What? That's amazing.
yeah, and I was really conflicted because again, I wanted to see. It almost felt like they were setting up a haunted house with all these rooms and the people I was going to call. But yeah, I was just, they got me out of there. They gave me $100 bill.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
I think I had to sign something, and then
Did you hold up the $100 bill to the light, make sure it was real?
show it to the mirror and be like,
oh my God, that's so crazy.
It would be so hard to decide. I think even knowing, I still would have been such a wimp of like calling it out. I would have been so afraid to be like, I don't think this is like. I get so intimidated, even as an adult, when there are other adults that I perceive as authority, where I'm always like, I'm the kid,
Yeah.
you're the adult.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I'll just pretend and go along. Like,
I think
I think it's really brave, I guess, that you.
I mean, I had to find it within me to go against all my natural instincts.
Yes.
To do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And that's, that, I don't know if that was the psychological thing that they were testing. I don't think it was, but that's part,
yeah, that
that's
was the
part-
test on the
part of
test
it.
on the
Yeah,
test.
right.
I would have literally been putting people in holes and going, I know this is wrong, but I'm afraid to say anything,
Oh
so
my
I'll just keep putting them in these holes and
We're
locking
gonna
them
need you
in.
to go pick up our experiment people.
just on the
You may
street,
need this
anyone you can
bag.
find.
Now bring the bags
Here's
to
a
put over
taser.
their heads.
I don't want to do this.
Well, the other thing I thought was weird was that they had pre-screened the people, yet still had to convince them. So that I was like, well, that doesn't
Right,
make any sense.
Right. Yeah, how do they have these names? And
Right.
What
They fit the
yeah.
criteria, but you still have to convince them to
If
do
they
it.
say no, tell them we know where their children go to school.
Oh my God.
They'll
I think
turn around.
I'm such a smart ass that I think I would want them to know that I got it. I would be
Yeah.
like, I think I would be like, okay, I'm not saying I would get it, but if I got it, I
Yeah.
think I'd be, except I might be worried that I wasn't going to get paid. But if you knew you were going to get paid regardless,
If they weren't gonna pay me, I was gonna
Yeah, throw a
Oh, they're
fit.
going to pay you.
I'm going to smash your fake desk.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna expose this whole charade.
It was a car. I mean, they're out of school. They can't find a real desk.
I
It's
know.
so funny.
They had access to the auditorium, but not somebody's office.
It's so funny.
All right, but yeah, it was, and I told some friends about this after it happened, and about a year or so later, a friend was like, "I found it. Like it's on YouTube."
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Experiment.
Yes. He was like, "You're not in it."
Right.
That would
They're
not
not
be a
gonna
good
show-
look for
yeah.
them to be like, "You're
Yeah.
doing this wrong."
Yeah.
But he was like, "I'm pretty sure I found it." He was like, "It's this guy named Vsauce, who's like a popular YouTuber, and he had a YouTube Red, I think was what it was called. It was the premium
Oh,
service
yes.
for YouTube.
Okay.
He had a show on there where he did like experiments, and this was one of them. And so
Was he a psychologist or was he just some douchebag?
He's a YouTube psychologist.
Oh, okay.
geez.
So he's
You know?
not even professional.
No, he's like one rank above YouTube pranker,
Oh,
but like,
God.
I'm different than the prankers.
Right.
I get you
Yeah.
to think about.
We're doing a psychological
Society.
and moral studies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a bachelor's degree.
Did you watch it?
I watched a little bit of it to get.
And
a
it was the
sense.
guy.
And it was.
Had
it
he
was
made
definitely the guy.
improvements?
I think he just found dumber people.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
what I could tell, but
for
also
sure.
so much of it was not what I experienced because I was out of it so fast.
Okay.
I pulled out before it really began.
Yeah.
So did they have people making actual phone calls?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Oh, I want to watch this.
Yeah, and it was it seemed like a whole thing. The guy got to act and stuff. and then there were
Amazing.
other actors on the other end of the phone
Right.
calls, of course, doing their own thing, being like I think doing like sob stories of like, I really need the money, but I can't. It doesn't seem right. And then you have to be like,
But those are all actors, right?
Yeah, yes,
okay.
yes. Everybody is in on it.
They didn't actually call poor people and try to get them to go in holes.
Psych.
No.
You're not getting money or going
Yeah,
home.
it's a prank for YouTube. Goodbye.
That's wild.
Wow.
That is crazy. And it's amazing that you found it.
I couldn't. Yeah, I was like, will they be able to pull this off, and what will it become? Because I did not assume it was gonna be for content. I assumed it was at the school that like psych students just
Right.
doing something.
Yeah.
But no, it was.
Well, when you said the mirror, I was like, oh, they're filming this.
Right.
Yeah.
But it could just be for reference, right? It
Yes,
just
true.
be for posterity or whatever. But no, that was the real deal YouTube camera.
Is there
Letting me
anything you
tell
want to
it.
plug whilst you're here?
Sure. Yes, I would love to. I made a movie last year that I wrote and act in, and it will be premiering in LA.
Oh, fantastic.
On June 29th at the Chinese Theater.
Whoa.
wow.
That is so exciting.
Well, tell us what it's called.
It's called American Comic. It is a fake documentary about stand-up.
Okay.
That's
Oh, that's
amazing.
really funny.
And it follows two up-and-coming comedians. One is like a grungy Midwest road dog who's a freedom of speech warrior.
Okay.
Cancel culture is ruining everything.
Yes.
And then the other comic is this like style over substance industry climber in LA will step on his mom's neck just to get a little bit of attention and heat in the business.
Nancy
and it
McKeon style.
follows these two stomp. Yeah, we're stomping on
Nancy
necks like
McKeon
style.
like Joe. And I play both of them.
That's
oh
so
my
fun.
God.
Yeah.
How fun is that?
And so, we shot it. I shot it with my friend Daniel, who shoots all the sketches I do, but also is a real deal documentary filmmaker.
Okay.
So he knows, how
Oh,
to
that's
do it,
really-
and we were able
yeah.
to do it. We went to the Midwest and we're shooting on the road, and because we really wanted the scale of it to feel right, and then we were shooting at real stand-up shows as well. One of my rules was, because you know how when you see stand-up in TV and movies,
Yeah.
you're like, something's off.
Yes.
This does not work. And so we were like, we are shooting this at real shows, and we are not going to tell the audience that we're filming.
Oh, that's really smart.
And not telling them that I'm doing a character either.
Oh,
Right.
wow. That
And
is
so I would just go up there as these
characters.
characters and do these jokes, and we would film and then get the reaction. Whatever reaction happened would work fine, and then we got what we needed.
Okay. And did any of the people in the audience know you already as a comic? Because you do stand up,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
so
that because we went to Chicago, and I came out of Chicago, and we were doing shows there, and I talked to another comic who I didn't know was in the audience, but she came up to me and she was like, because during that set I revealed halfway through that I was doing a character, and she was like, I'm so happy. I was like, what happened to Joe? It sucks now. This is so embarrassing. And she was like, but now that I get it, it's great. But I actually stopped telling the audience because I started to hit a wall that I couldn't overcome, which is because I kind of started getting good as these characters. And so I would go out as a character, do the set, not tell them I'm doing a character, and they would be into it. And then halfway through, I'd be like, take off the hat and be like, change my voice a little bit and be like, that's not me. That was a character. He sucks. All his material is garbage. Anyway, I'll tell you some real jokes. Thanks
Right.
for going along with it. But they liked him.
yes.
Right. So now you're calling them idiots.
Yes,
You're
I'm
kind
calling
of
them
insulting
idiots.
them.
They
Yeah.
feel betrayed.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
also just confused.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't.
You know what? It kind of sounds like someone was pulling a scam on them.
I was doing
As
my own
if
research.
they were being,
Yeah. The student has become the teacher.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it alone, the process of doing the movie was an interesting experiment, and at times brutal realization of I'm doing these because the thread that I was trying to put through the needle was can I make jokes that I think are bad but will work?
Yeah.
Because I think doing bad jokes is something anybody can do. Just don't try
Yeah.
and then you'll bomb.
Right.
Great, perfect, easy. But it was what's more interesting is to try to find something that I think is deplorable,
Right.
but will still work.
Yeah.
in the context
Absolutely.
of an audience. And we figured it out, but then it was also kind of giving us a bit of an existential crisis of oh God,
Yeah.
this stuff is really working.
Yes. That could feel depressing maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is maybe what people want.
Right.
Got a sitcom deal out of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, right.
They've got a lot of
Then
bookings.
it's
Yeah.
Doing
that
festivals.
American fiction.
Yes, yes, yeah.
When you said when you see stand up on TV and it takes you out of it, I remember watching Studio 60. Did you ever watch Studio
I
60
watched
on the
Studio
subs?
60 recently.
You did?
Yeah. but-
As homework?
No, just because it's I find it to be very funny and something oddly comforting about it, but also seeing them get comedy so wrong is
Have you ever seen it?
Is it the Matthew Perry?
Yes.
Aaron
Yeah.
Sorkin.
And
Yep.
it's so wrong.
Yeah.
Every single thing is wrong. But the thing that struck me so funny was that they use the improv because they're going to go and find a comic, to put on their show. And they dress the improv. So it's not what the improv looks like
what a
inside.
comedy
I'm
club
like,
looks like.
this is an actual comedy club. You
Yeah.
didn't need to do anything. I mean, I can understand if you live somewhere else, you don't know what the improv looks like. But it was just funny. And then, of course, the guy is terrible on stage and they think he's a genius and they put him on the show. Like, nothing made sense. Okay, well, this was great. Thank you so much
Yes,
for being
such
here.
a fun
Happy
story.
to finally
That story was-
admit my story.
Thank
I
you
know.
for
So
unburdening
brave.
yourself. So brave.
you.
And we will be back right after this with What Did We Learn Today?
Hey, Danielle.
Hey, Kristine.
You ready to learn what we learned today?
Sure am.
Something Tire Tuesday.
Couldn't think of anything.
Okay, got it.
It's supposed to be a joke.
I know, I didn't get it. I didn't get
Something Tire Tuesday.
Okay.
Does that make it funnier?
Like Flat Tire Tuesday.
There you go. Flat Tire Tuesday.
Dolly Parton indeed made her film debut in the 1980 comedy 9 to 5. The film also starred Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin and was a critical and commercial success, earning Parton an Oscar nomination for her original song 9 to 5.
Yep. Very good.
She's written over 3,000 songs. Wow. Man. Your midlife crisis probably isn't real. Put down that Steely Dan chord book and enjoy your afternoon of life.
There you go.
Nice. All we are saying is give change a chance.
Nice. That is hard to say, though.
It is. If all else fails, there's always Carney class.
That's what. Yeah. Maybe if we're not good at the handstands, we can learn to be like cigarette smoking, greasy haired carny ride operators. I'm sure they teach that there too.
Oh, I think I could get that down easily.
Flat.
I mean, not wash my hair, smoke cigarettes, and not be good at putting things together.
Sounds
Perfect.
good.
I feel like I've
Yeah.
already mastered all
Yeah.
those things. We're all going to die at some point. Who cares? Go have fun learning and experiencing something new.
Yes, exactly.
What do you got to lose? Who cares?
It's true.
Just fail big in life, I say.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a long time.
I was gonna say I've perfected failing downward.
Same.
Yeah.
And you know what? Why not?
Right.
Self-care is healthcare.
Oh.
Y'all.
Like it. I like it.
Anyway, you guys are great.
Yeah, you're all great.
We're all great. Everybody who listens great, unless you're doing bad things in your life and then you're not great. And I take
know
that
who
back.
you are.
You know what you're doing. You should stop doing it.
Yeah, knock it off.
Yeah, get your shit together. You one person.
You Steely Dan cover band having idiot.
What I like about that the most is that you guys were like, that's not real.
I'm sorry. I know sometimes you don't usually put jokes like written in your material. So I was like, what?
I know, I tricked you.
You did. I love it.
Everybody have a great week.
Yes.
Enjoy your lives and go do something that scares you a little bit.
Drive on only 3 tires.
Yeah, drive on 3 tires, jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't jump
No.
off a cliff.
And until next time,
Remain calm.